On the count of three, I need everyone to clap. 1, 2, 3.
Dude.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
all right, that's all we needed for TikTok. Yeah, everyone huddle in. Reason why we asked everyone to come out here is me, Sheldon, and David. We have a little project, 8-piece, and it's just us doing the Badwan Gin. But everyone that we invited are people that we look up to. And then when we were doing it, we're like, the key to everything is collaboration. The key to creativity is collaboration. The key to everything that we do is collaboration. And then we just started talking pretty much about every person in this room. And we were like, we wish that we could do something with all of you guys, but then we're just like, yeah, but we do just want to kind of sit down and have tea with you guys. I've been going around talking to people, and the most common thing is like community and feeling isolated and like the busy and the hustle of like what it is. And so we're just like, I think we just want to get together and have tea and just kind of talk and have questions and just talk to you guys, introduce you guys to our communities and all sorts of stuff. There's really no agenda behind this yet. We just really look up to everyone at this table, and it's hard when you do something and you want everyone to come along with you, but at first, we're just kind of getting things going and realizing that no matter what, it's community. And I'm sure you guys are all really busy. Raise your hand if you're really busy. Yeah, and even back in the back. Yeah, so that's what this is. And so we just had some questions and just kind of wanted to have a conversation and tea with you guys because everyone at this table is pretty rad.
If I can add to that too, you mentioned our 8-piece project, which we created when we went to demo at your 50th anniversary. That whole doing the drawing bow in all the different ways, that was what spawned our 8-piece project. So thank you for being here for this too.
If you had an intro,
Huh?
what would it be?
If I had a tea. Yeah, I think we're nailing it right now. This is it. Like technically, this is everything.
Sorry, you said yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we would always be able to collaborate with the people at this table.
This is a perfect world. What are you talking about?
Huh? Yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for the tea.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Oh yeah, and yeah, let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Sifu Brandon Dunng. I'm from the Feng Martial Arts Center. Been teaching now for about 30 years. And, every day's a new adventure.
I'm Matt. Been doing, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Spill it a little
Namaste.
more.
Been training my 40 years, a little over 40 years, and I'm from like the Silk Road traditions, Persian stuff, and Kung Fu and combatives, and wrestling and judo, and now I'm doing the 8-piece Qigong stuff. Been practicing ever since I was a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sheldon Callahan. I run Deep Root Center for Spiritual Studies. It's a temple that was started by the monks of the Shaolin Temple. I inherited that practice from the monks. Trained with a lot of venerable masters like Master Cooper and a whole set of Shaolin. I've been doing Shaolin for 30 years now, so it's been a long time and really fun to collaborate with all these other really cool people.
Well, thank you. My name is Scott Jensen, and I studied Northern Shaolin with Wang Jackman, inherited Northern Shaolin from him, and Xingyi Tren, and Tai Chi Tren, and Bhagavad Song. And well, I've been doing Chinese martial arts for as long as everybody else here. So it's a very nice pleasure to be with everyone. Thank you.
I'm David. This is my home, and so I'm happy to have you all here, and excited to serve everyone here tea. You guys have tea over there too. You guys are drinking the exact same tea we are, so enjoy. We're drinking a black tea with roses inside for the heart.
I'm Alex. I started martial art when I was probably 8 years old. I learned about Qigong when I was about 8 years old. I had asthma and was able to heal myself with Qigong. So I study many things, Taoism. I have first degree in Judo from the Kodokan. I'm also a Kodenkan practitioner, Jiu-Jitsu, second degree Jiu-Jitsu guy. And I've been doing Tai Chi I know Dr. Fei Wang, I know San Francisco. So I'm like an old timer. Been around, seen quite a bit. I like healing, and I like community. So thank you for letting.
My name is Adisa Banjoko. I'm a black belt instructor at the Half Gracie Academy in San Jose, Half Gracie Academy in Santa Clara, and I also teach jiu-jitsu currently at LinkedIn. And I'm a rogue scholar in regards to Taoism and Sufism and Stoic philosophy.
I'm Marilyn Cooper. I've been doing Kung Fu since I was a teenager, so that's almost 60 years, pretty much nonstop, because I could never quite get it, still trying. And I started a nonprofit called Pushing for Peace to help the problem of youth violence, but mostly we've been working internationally with refugees, and currently with a young man named Josh Wesley, who's teaching our peace games. It's a Tai Chi-based program to reduce violence and anxiety at one of the largest refugee camps in Africa, in Nakawal in Uganda. So, yeah, Pushing for Peace is it was started because of the problem of youth violence, because of what happened at Columbine High School, but it seems to have taken off more internationally. As much as I try to get it in local schools, yeah, we have it going more in Europe, Asia, and Africa currently.
I'd like to ask you guys, like, what is your test track? What is the thing that you always go back to that lets you know where you are in your practice or in your body? I have my practice that no matter where my mind and where my body is, I can go practice this thing, and I know how my flexibility, how my health is, how my stamina is, where my mind's at. So I have some things for mind, some things for body. Kind of use the 8-piece for that. I use this other yoga system for that. But my punch or standing on one leg tells me what I need to know. If I can't stand on one leg, I know I'm just imbalanced.
I really try to mix it up all the time, and it's a lot dependent on seasons. And, you know, we tend to do Bagua in the summer, Tai Chi all year round, Xingyi in the fall, and Qigong and Tai Chi more in the winter and spring. So
I think I've been leaning more towards, a lot more towards Tai Chi as I get older. I still get a lot of my Kung Fu workouts with my students because we teach in classes every day. And of course, when you're teaching kids as well as adults, kids, we start as young as 4, so you're down on your knees, you're just in there and with it. So you get a lot of Kung Fu movement with kids, adults in Kung Fu classes. But personal practice wise, I think I've really embraced a lot of Tai Chi principles to really enhance what I do Kung Fu wise, and just to try not to hurt on a daily basis.
yeah, right.
It's a great practice.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question to ask, because it sort of shows different things, you know. And one way that, and you can think about what you just asked about in different ways. You know, sometimes it's like we're really healthy and we can just like sort of roll on with life, you know. And there's other times where it's like it's a challenge, and then you have to rebuild a little bit. I would say when I really need to like reset, when I've been sick or maybe injured, depending on how strong I am, I would go for my Tai Chi long form. So it's very long. So that's a 15-minute form, and I would practice that one. And that always gives me a baseline on like where my hips are at, where my spine is at, what's happening, can I align my body, you know? But as soon as I'm thinking about Kung Fu, and sort of the baseline for me in Kung Fu, that would be doing Tan Toi, 12-line Tan Toi, and Earth Dragon Staff. And, you know, when I want to like build myself up, then I'll just go do really long lines of Tan Toi, go the long directions on the tennis court and do my Tan Toi. And at first, sometimes, you know, I can't even hardly finish one line, but then, you know, that's how you get back in shape. So you pound that thing. And then the other one, especially if I feel like I need to build upper body strength, my upper body strength's a little low. Then I go for Earth Dragon Staff. And I learned that one from Wong Jackman. And that's my favorite staff form. It's really the only one I learned from it, but it's expert level. It has 88 moves. And when you do that one with a long staff, then I get a really terrific workout for my upper body. And, you know, the Tantoi and the staff, they sort of upper body, lower body. You know, so I wouldn't think about like recovering with weights or anything else like that, you know, or even running or any of that stuff. Just those forms training, that really does it for me. And I teach a lot, and we teach the I Ching Jing, and I know a sort of expanded I Ching Jing with 24 exercises, and that's amazing, like body reset for me. You know, that just gets everything. It has everything I need in it. But I do that frequently, so it's not something I would rarely do it on my own unless I was someplace special, like a really good, you know, like Qigong spot, power spot.
I realize we may need to have like a glossary of terms.
Right.
Some subtitles.
Right. Yeah, we're Tom.
Yeah, we were saying Tantoi, to explain Tantoi. Tantoi is you do a lot of very low stances with your legs really bent low, and low horse stance, low bow and arrow stance. And you do a lot of foundation techniques, and you try to use your legs to power the techniques with your hands. So it's something like the first thing that people learn, but it can also be like a very high level black belt, very high level thing as well. So now I teach everybody another form which is very common. A lot of people do, called Lianbu, which is connecting links, and that one's only about 30 movements long, where Tantoi could be 200 easily. So it's a lot shorter. And then I teach Tantoi as a black belt, like as a very high level form now. So then at that point, people are ready to sort of go back and get really good at their stances and make their legs really strong and take their flexibility to another whole level and, you know, perfect their development of power with their stances.
My Sifu that was from Shanghai during the rise of Jin Wu, that he said it was taught to the Chinese army, the Chinese police, and I had the feeling that that's when it evolved, was through Qin Wu. That's its era.
Well, it's well known that it was taught to the police and the army, and that's one of the reasons it spread so much. A lot, you know, they were. It's exactly the kind of thing that you would teach the army.
Yeah.
It's exactly the kind of thing you would teach the police, because it's about 30 moves long. They're very simple. Almost all of them have a fully lethal application to them, or more than one. You know, so it's perfect for that role.
It's funny, one of my questions on here just says, Scott, Marilyn, talk about forms. I literally have that written down. And I always look at forms as like, history was taught through song, and the history of our movement was taught through form. Yeah. And I really, so, you know, what you guys do is just is amazing.
I like this conversation of sets that we learned early on, because the very first form that I ever learned was a set called the Water Dragon. And what's funny is that every progression I make in my practice, I'll go back to that form and be like, oh, it was in there. You know, I kind of revisit that old form and find all the secrets that I'm learning as I progress have always been there. I just didn't have the eyes to see them, right? But now my litmus test, it's, I look for practices that give me energy. I don't look for things that drain me or exhaust me, because I need to show up for my son, I need to show up for my family, I need to show up for my community. And so I'm not trying to be spent at the end of a class. I want to practice something that nourishes me and gives me energy, not just spending it.
For me, Tai Chi and Qigong is the thing that I can do all the time that helps to balance and heal me and keep me moving. And then also teach Kung Fu often, and Tantoi is kind of another one of those for me that helps me to build my strength, especially during the pandemic when things got really weak because there wasn't a lot of opportunities to practice in person. So those would be mine.
So, do you guys have a test track? You guys have anything that you always go back to? You've been doing this for so long.
I was interested in yours.
So I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and one of the things about it is because it's so new, it is actually, I've watched it grow in an incredible leaps and bounds. In terms of the technical evolution, because let's say if I do an armbar a certain way for so long, he starts to defend it in a certain way, and then now my armbar may be obsolete for a few years, and then there's a counter to the counter, and so it's happening so fast that people will just do a small corner of jiu-jitsu and be very, very effective, right? Because it's an alive art. It's always evolving. So I have there's a fundamental drill that normally two partners do called Jiu-Jitsu 101. Not everybody does it at this phase. A lot of people don't know it. It's kind of aged out, but for my generation, it was a thing. And so because I couldn't train as often as I wanted to, I created a solo drill for myself of Jiu-Jitsu 101. And I refined it personally, not like somebody else is better than mine or whatever, but like I think because I do a lot of hatha yoga, it's the only thing I do, like super basic, day one hatha yoga kind of stuff. So I think hatha informed the way that I breathed as I went through the sequence. And so what has happened, it's funny because you mentioned this idea of you do something, you can overdo it, you can do it too much. What I found is that I do Jiu-Jitsu 101 very slow, repeatedly. And what I'm looking for is, because each position changes, like for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people, you start in the mount, which is the worst position, and then you reverse it to be inside someone's closed guard, and you reverse that to passing the guard, reverse that to side control, and then you move to the mount, okay? And so what I'm learning is, especially as I age and my knees continue to evaporate slowly, that there are new potentials in each of those positions, that each positional transition is its own tree of life in that space, and they have all these little infinite branches. So I do that just to stay in tune with myself, to pay attention to observations that positional things I wasn't aware of, and then I do hatha yoga, and then I do a lot of meditation, a lot of transcendental meditation, as well as different breathing patterns. I want to learn holotropic breathing at some point, and so all of that is kind of a big deal in my life. And the reason why I'm honored to be with all of you is because as I age, I'm knowing that I need Qigong, Tai Chi, and these kinds of things just to have the longevity to continue to do Jiu-Jitsu, because it's a very rough art on the body.
You're sitting next to some of the best healers in the business.
I know.
Right?
This is why I'm happy.
Yeah.
So is what you were describing, that workout, is that with a partner or by yourself?
It's solo. It's by myself. Yes.
So you do the mounts and you imagine the other person? That's
Yeah, and so it's heavy on visualization, but it's also about connection. Like how connected am I to the earth? How aligned are my hips and my shoulders? Where's my head at? Right, and those things have to be really granularly in order, because when a physical human is attacking you, you don't have the time to check your posture. Yeah. It's on. You know what I mean? And so I find Jiu-Jitsu 101 to be like the perfect kind of baseline for where I'm at. And it also gives me the potential to discover new possibilities and new potentials in the transitions.
Well, the old saying, when you train by yourself, imagine an opponent. And when there is an opponent, imagine no opponent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
To answer your question, I come to consciousness, because with consciousness, then you have choices. And that's it.
That's the most Alex Feng answer. He came into this class of kids one time, or at Destiny Arts, when you came into Destiny Arts, and he's just like, everyone want to learn this crazy. Everyone was so excited to learn this Qigong, and he's just like, just wave back and forth. Done. And scene. Everyone's like just all peaceful, just like kelp. We're just like,